I've already been telling you I was going to try to get you some of the equipment that's out there, and probably do run it out in a couple of videos. But for these guys like Grandmaster J and his not flipping around anymore militia, just thought maybe you guys might want to see kind of what a firefight looks like. Yeah, before you get all fired up into let's do this. It can get rough, gentlemen. So let me show you what a firefight kind of looks like. Looks like fun, huh? Bring back memories for a few guys. Yeah. I've got some real flashback stuff for you later on. But yeah, tanks. Joe Biden says we have tanks, so it's not for fending off the government. Yeah, well, Joe, guess what? So do they.
These things are for landmines. It just goes and digs up, and they explode way out here, and not, under the tank. Look at this. These guys just have giant tanks everywhere. All the guns on all these tanks are functional. The main cannons are functional, the 50 cals are functional, the 30 cals are functional. They all fire. This is a totally real tank. It's not like a museum tank that's decommissioned. These are legit tanks we're sitting in.
This one's sitting next to that artillery piece, as the video is going to tell you. It's just been remodified and so forth. It belongs to Battlefield Las Vegas, which probably the next video I'll have some clips of some of their storage facility. Might be interesting. But I'll tell you what, that old Sherman, that son of a gun does all right on fire. You put down some fire. Take a look.
D30 behind me. This was a gun that was just barely finished by Hamilton Sun Firearms for Battlefield Vegas. It came in as a complete restoration. Well, they were originally made in the 60s, and they're still used today. It's a multi-purpose gun howitzer, to where it can fire directly as a direct fire weapon or indirectly as a howitzer. The gun itself weighs in about 8,000 pounds, give or take. Currently, we are going to be shooting these big beauties right here, which is an original 122mm projectile. Each one that we fire today is a collector's item. Projectile weight is just over 40 pounds. And we're using about an 8-pound charge of powder to send them. Max range on the gun is about 10 miles. For being a Russian gun, pretty complicated. There's a lot going on with it as far as how the wheels fold up and the legs spin around it. Almost seems more German than Russian, but all around probably one of the most modern shooting guns in civilian hands right now. Right there.
I tried.
That's a fucking big old stud right there. I know!
It's kind of interesting. Plus, I'll really swing some of you old timers like myself back into the day. I've got some aviation coming up now that'll make you give you some memories. If you guys ever get out to Vegas on vacation, stop by down at Battlefield Vegas. They have there's a lot of fun things to do. They let you shoot assorted weapons, but they also have a helicopter gunship that they'll take you out into the desert and let you actually work as a door gunner on the son of a gun and hit targets and things of this nature. You're going to tear a fairly decent hole in your wallet, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. And they do have this M60 tank that they just got back in refurbished. Hey, that thing works as good as a new one. It was kind of shocking to watch it in action. They have a lot of APCs and additional tanks and so forth. I think they've got 2 or 3 M1A1s out there and things of that nature. And like I said, they'll run them out in the desert with you. And they've got one whole package, I think, out there to make it a weekend kind of affair, but it's going to set you back about 10 grand. Okay, because those shells and machine guns and things of this nature, that stuff isn't cheap to file. Okay, so but yeah, take a look at it. Clip coming up now, it's a little about air power. All this is privately owned, folks. Privately owned. These guys maintain the licenses and so forth. They can arm them, and a lot of them have arms sitting there ready to go. Pack it on the aircraft, things of this nature. Most of these guys make their money as government contractors, things of this nature, especially on these jets. They train the military, okay? They're opposition training. A lot of the guys with the helicopters, older vintage stuff, things of this nature, they primarily make their money at air shows and stuff of this nature, but they do fairly well. And that way they're able to acquire. Alright, now you see what I'm talking about privately owned equipment. And this is a small group. Been up into the Wyoming area and looked at some of those up there. Colorado, Kentucky, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona. Good Lord, you know Texas does it all big down there. So, yeah, a lot of equipment out there. So Joe Biden, once again, you're proving that you don't know squat, which really it should be concerning to voters. But yeah, this is basic stuff. Now, the one thing that you will find, and it's hard to stumble across it. I ran across Tennessee's accidentally on a news story and started asking questions, and that's when I found out. You have two separate kinds of militias out there, according to the Constitution. You'll hear them talk about a regulated militia. Now, that is a state's militia. Most people think, ooh, National Guard. Well, at one time, yeah, that's what the National Guard was supposed to be all about. Today, the National Guard is more under the control of the federal government. So if it ever came down to a group of states, like back in the 1800s, saying, no, you're not going to do this to us, then you're going to run into the situation that they're not going to have control of that National Guard to some degree. The government already estimates the defection out of the National Guard, the state National Guards, would be extremely high, and a lot of the equipment would be lost. But to maintain a defense force for the state that the state governors can use quickly, okay, some states, not all, but some states maintain a regulated militia. They have equipment. They got to do it privately owned, but as you can see, there is a lot of privately owned equipment out there. And most of these kind of setups, when I'm talking militias, I'm usually talking either very large unregulated or very large state militias that only act under the orders of the governor. So be advised, it's out there. It is nothing to fear. It's not a bunch of, sheet-hooded Klansmen out there, things of this nature. They're just good patriots, most all of them veterans, who want to see this country right. Really do. So keep that in mind. Nothing to be afraid of. Matter of fact, if you're not afraid of your governor, of course, there's a few states here of late I'd be a little afraid of their governors, but I don't think those real blue states have many regulated militias. But they're there. They're available. It's very close word of mouth, folks. It's not like you can run an ad in Craigslist of, hey, I want to join a militia and get a lot of offers. And if you do, be concerned about them. But, attend things like this here. They have these big Sandy events out in Arizona. They have them all over the country. And they call them various things. I think in Kentucky they call it a machine gun shoot. Stuff of that nature. You'll get introduced to some people. Okay, they're out there. If that's something you really want to get into. Training, I'd recommend them for veterans, combat veterans. I don't know if I would, if you just are wanting to go shoot at something, probably isn't a place for it. Okay, because they run a tight ship. Like I said, they don't talk much. It's with good cause. They don't want people to be worried about it. Okay, because they're not a worry kind of thing. But when you get these communists out there running around saying we're going to start a revolution, we're going to burn it down, we're going to do yada, they don't have a clue the pushback that can come at them. They don't have a clue. And, they talked about if Donald Trump gets elected again, the state of California is going to succeed. Well, most of us would go, yeah, why don't you give the whole thing back to Mexico and be done with it? Serious. This is Rich, Tennessee Homestead. Love you guys, appreciate you. Y'all take care. I'll probably do a few more of these. I don't make a dime off of them, and they're a lot of time to put together. So buy a t-shirt or some coffee. Have a great day. Talk to you.